Hey guys, how's it going? So this video is going to be to help answer a question I've also been getting a lot lately in the comments. And I love your comments and I do read them all. And this is concerning having a pistol. It could be something like this Smith & Wesson M&P shield or your Taurus G3C and others. And people are saying they're having a hard time rocking the slide back. And I actually know exactly what you're talking about. This is fairly common for people that maybe you're a little bit elderly, maybe you have weak hands, arthritis. There's a million reasons why, but who cares? I'm going to attempt to show you a couple tricks in this video that I use that is going to help you when you have a pistol that's very difficult to pull that slide back. And by the way, if you like the video, don't forget to leave me a thumbs up and please share it with your friends. And there's also links down in the description where you can help the channel. I appreciate it. So I'm going to start off with this Smith & Wesson M&P shield. This is a small, subcompact, 9mm. It's a great little concealed carry gun because it fits in a small space, and I actually love this pistol. But I have to say, out of most of the pistols I own, this one is one of the most difficult to rack back. So I'm going to show you a trick, and let's just start real quick with a couple of the fundamentals. So I racked it back. Alright, so the top portion, which is the slide of your pistol, these are going to vary from pistol to pistol. And you're usually going to have some sort of slide serrations. And in the case of the shield, they're kind of this wavy. And they're actually rather aggressive. Now, this being a small subcompact, you're not going to find any on the front. So we are going to rack this pistol from the rear. Now, there's a couple ways that you can do this. I often see people come from the back with their thumb and forefinger, and they'll pull this way. That's okay, but I don't quite think it's the best way because I'm only able to get just a narrow portion of my fingers on there, and I don't have a lot of strength in these two, finger and thumb, compared to if I grab it the other way. So what I like to do is take kind of the tip of this finger, thumb here on this side. I'll either do it like this. See, there's several different ways, and I'm going to attempt to show you. This is one way to do it, right? Or, better yet, if it's really stiff, like with this pistol, I'll put my heel here, the heel of my hand, right on the side where the serrations are. I'll come over the back, and I'll kind of keep my thumb here with the heel. Let's see, it's hard to do this on camera, guys. So my thumb is kind of grabbing here with the heel of my hand. So I'm getting all of this pressure with my left hand. Now I'm going to come over, and in this case I actually have room to get 2 fingers on the slide serrations, right? And then the third one's kind of there too. I'm just going to make a fist and just squeeze really tight. And now I have much more of a surface area, and I'm using the muscles of my hand instead of just my fingertips. So that alone is going to be a huge help, just how your grips, grasping the slide and pulling it back. But that's not the main thing that I want to show you. This is a trick that I learned a long time ago, and I've showed a bunch of people this in real life, and it really, really helps. So just to make the video more interesting, let's switch it up to the G3C. Now this one right away, I'm noticing I can grab onto the slide way easier than I can this shield, just because of the shape of it. So with the G3C, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to kind of put my thumb here, come down with the heel of my hand right here. See that? So I'm holding here, and then I'm going to come over and make like a clamp. And again, I can fit 2 fingers good on here and kind of the third. Now keep your finger out of this ejection port area. See how this opens and closes? Make sure there's no pinky or anything in this area, because if you open it up and your pinky's in here like this and you were to let it slam, I'm holding the pressure. That would be a rather serious injury, and it would hurt. So just make sure you keep anything out of this ejection port area of the slide where the barrel's chamber hood interfaces. So I'm going to grab onto it here. And I'm already getting way easier grip on this gun than I was the last one. But here's the trick. So what a lot of people do is they just hold the gun stationary in their shooting hand. Remember, your finger's out of the trigger guard. Up here, there's a nice little recess for your finger on these Taurus G series, which I really like. And a lot of people just keep it stationary. They're going to hold the pistol with their right hand, and they're going to take their left hand and they're going to pull back. Okay. For a lot of you, that's going to be fine and you can stop right there. But here's the trick that really, really helps. So rather than just holding this stationary here and pulling back on the slide, we're going to do something a little different. Now pretend the pistol's in my hand. I'm holding the slide here with my left hand, my right hand. So instead of holding still and pulling back, we're going to push both hands towards each other. So I'm going to be holding onto the pistol with my right hand, the slide with my left. And while I'm pulling back the slide with the left hand, I'm going to be pushing the pistol forward. So it's going to look just like this. You're going to try to simulate that. Does that make sense? Now remember, I've talked about this in videos in the past. And you want to make sure you have that slide all the way to the rear. So here's literally what I'm going to do. I'm going to be pushing forward with this hand while pulling back with this. Equal forces, both pushing towards each other, and it's going to be a breeze. Look at that. Try it with your pistol if you're having a hard time. Now, look at what we're doing. We're holding on with our whole hand here. This is all the strong muscles in your hand. And now we're using the whole strength of our forearm, our wrist, even the bicep to a point. We're able to push. Almost like you're giving something a jab. Now, look. Don't get any ideas, women out there. Don't be taking it out on your husband. I'm not teaching you how to punch here in this video. But it's real similar to that. Like you're just giving it a jab with your right hand while you're grabbing the slide and pulling to the rear. And when you do them at the same time, you just find it's almost effortless. I have a good friend. She's in her mid-70s. I was out shooting in her backyard, and I wanted her to try to shoot this pistol. She was holding on to it, and God bless her, she has some arthritis and things. She just couldn't pull it back. And I said, just grasp on nice and tight onto the slide, and just really shove it with your right hand and your left hand at the same time. And she was actually able to operate this pistol. So it's really cool helping out somebody. Now, some of you are like, hey man, come on. I'm tough enough. Some of you might even think that you're stronger than me, which is doubtful, but hey, you know. Maybe this tip will help you teach other people that, that'll help you out. Just remember, you're pushing both hands into each other, and you can really utilize the strength of your arm here. And now all of a sudden, now that I'm employing this dual pushing action, this shield's butter, even though it was a really, really hard pistol to rack if I just hold it still and pull it to the rear. And we're going to go over this one more time too, because I think this is where many of the malfunctions come into play. Like many/most. And that's concerning how to actually rack the pistol back. So I'm going to grab one of these. This is a dummy. It's realistic. It's going to simulate, but no chance of this going off. And I'm just going to load the one round into the magazine for my Shield 9mm. And I'm going to use the same strategy I told you guys. So my hands are going to be, I'm going to do it real deliberate, really quick. And as soon as I get this slide all the way to the rear, you're just going to let go. Do not ride it forward. You're just going to let go. So, and it chambered the round with no problem at all. And that's the thing you guys have to realize. When you're loading a piece of ammunition, whether it's a dummy or a real, you are not going to hurt your pistol. I promise you. If what I'm telling you to do breaks your pistol when you're loading a round into it, there's something else wrong, and it was going to malfunction as soon as you actually shot it. Because the violent reciprocation, when a round goes off with the back pressure, it's going to put the slide back with more force than you could ever simulate by hand, even if you're as strong as me. So, all the way to the rear, simply let go, and we chambered our round. Now, a lot of people, especially if you're newer to guns, you're thinking to yourself, but I want to kind of baby it. And that's not always the best idea. Sometimes you can get lucky, but I've seen many malfunctions where someone pulls it to the rear, and then they very, very slowly. That one we got lucky. It barely went into battery, but I caught it hitching at the end, and I see many, many malfunctions of people just riding that slide and easing it forward. Nope. Just pull it to the rear, let it go forward, chambering your round of ammunition. Now, I think the pushing with both opposing forces is going to work for 99% of you. But if there's a couple of you out there that just still can't get it, you can still enjoy shooting even with really weak hand strength. And this is where calibers such as the .22 come into play. going to show you guys this for eye candy. This is my newest beauty from Forge Tech Holsters. I'm going to be doing a standalone video on this very soon. Just wanted to give you a teaser. Look at how pretty that is. With a nice dots combat loop that I love on my holsters. This is a 22, and this is the Taurus TX22. Now with the 22 having less violent recoil, less propulsion of the bullet, so therefore less mass, they can use a much weaker spring. And when you're pulling back the slide, you're overcoming that recoil spring, right? So this is a pistol that most people, maybe not everybody, but if they're able to shoot at all, they'll probably be able to pull back this 22. So this may be something that gets them into shooting. Maybe they'll need to stop at the 22, but maybe they can get used to this handgun enough, using some of the same techniques. They can still do the push forward with both, right? Push back with this one, push forward with the right hand. You can still practice that same technique with this, but you're going to find that the spring resistance is probably at least half on this Taurus TX22 as it is the 9mm G3C. And by the time you get to this shield, which is one of the worst, to be honest with you, it's probably about 1/3 of the force required than to pull this back. So don't forget about the 22. The ammo's cheap. It's fun to plink with. Now, not only is it going to be easier for them to pull the slide back and chamber the round and put it in the battery, but there's going to be much less felt recoil shooting the pistol. And I really like the TX22, you know, with these 16 round mags. That's a lot by 22 standards, so you can plink quite a bit before you're going to have to reload the magazine. But yeah, just to summarize, you can use the dual pushing, pulling back with your left hand, pushing with your right. That's going to really help people a lot. Instead of just daintily grabbing the end of it with 2 fingers here, really get on there and grab onto it with the heel/thumb portion like this. Come over with 2, 3 fingers if you have the room. Just try it real slow a couple times and see where your fingers are. If you need to look like this, point it in a safe direction, cool. Use a mirror. Keep that pinky or ring finger out of this area. That's very, very important. So go slow the first few times. If you think your finger's getting dangerously close, just pull that finger out of the equation and only use 2. That's fine. The main portion is you're just getting as much of your hand muscles on the side as possible, shoving forward with that right hand, and flip everything I just said around if you're a lefty. Well, I hope that helps somebody out there. I'm definitely looking forward to doing another holster review soon. Alright, thanks for watching, and have a good one.